Yo. Welcome back to the show. It's your boy Kenny, joined by my co-pilot, man, the Iceman to my Maverick, Skips. Haven't even seen Top Gun, but I just know the reference. That's right.
Fuck, that has to be on our list soon, dude.
I know we will see Top Gun Maverick and Top Gun. We'll get to it, guys. We just haven't gotten around to it, but we got to get to it. Too much hype for us to be sleeping on it. Man, we haven't been stay tuned, and we've been sleeping.
Yeah, dude.
Don't you be doing that either.
We gotta stay awake.
Wake up. Don't put on a little makeup. Why don't you get a little shake up?
Oh my god.
Now let's go. I hope I don't get copyrighted. But welcome back to the show, guys. Don't go off the rails here. Don't change that dial. This is the She-Hulk recap, guys. That's right. We are back with another weekly recap. We've been doing this thing for a bunch of the TV series stuff going on around here. And make sure you click that subscribe button, man. Click that goddamn subscribe button, man. It's going to be right there. It's going to be right there, right down there. Click that thing and click the like, hashtag more cowbell, all of that, so you don't miss any of these weekly recaps we're doing. House of the Dragon, She-Hulk, Andor right around the corner, and a lot of stuff to come, guys. So make sure you don't miss any of that good stuff, guys. But with no further ado, it is time to get into this spoiler-filled review. Spoiler warning, if you didn't see it on the thumbnail for whatever reason, this is your last chance to get out of here before the spoilers start flying in your face. That's right. We're talking about Madison. It's episode 5. No, I was playing.
Oh my god.
Nah, I'm just joking. I fucking got this guy.
I was like, wait. I'm like, hold up. Wait a minute. Give me a second.
I made it specifically to fuck with this guy.
I was like, what the
I literally
flip is
made
going
that this
on?
morning just to mess with you.
Did he really?
I literally did, yeah.
Holy
did
shit.
it real quick this morning.
I looked at it for a second. In my mind, I was like, wait, what the
wait a
fuck?
minute,
I'm like, did I watch the same episode as you? I was like, what?
Yes, I got you, dog. Yes.
You did.
That was fun.
Motherfucker.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, man. No, for reals, though. For reals, guys. No more bullshit, guys. This is it for reals, guys. Episode 5. We're getting all into it. She-Hulk LLC, bro. Okay? Make sure you get it right. Make sure you get all that stuff, man. Me and my boy were talking about this shit off of camera, man. You better get your papers right because She-Hulk getting sued out here by Titania up in this thing. She has to go to court and has to get representation, and she's fucking up stuff, man. She's fucking up stuff for the firm and everything. And this episode is episode 5, of course, titled Me Green and Straight Poured Into Those Jeans. Yeah, boy. And we're starting off with that Titania commercial, man, with her doing her little She-Hulk promo where she straight up stole the name, got that trademark first and foremost, and y'all know how that trademark rules go and shit, so she got that thing, and then Jen and Nikki end up going to confront her at her little, what would you call it, an influencer convention, I guess you'd say? Influencer con, I guess.
It was like a release of something, right?
Yes.
It was
some shit like that, man. And they go to this event, and she's like, hey, what the hell is your problem? Why'd you steal the name and all that? She's like, well, it's my name now, and you were too late. And, yeah. So, essentially, that's pretty much the thing right there. She didn't want the name at first, and she kept disowning it and not wanting to claim it. And then when she starts to try to embrace it now, it's too late. She's going to steal it and all that shit. And then we jump on over to that one lawyer dude that was going to help out Mr. Meg Thee Stallion's boyfriend over there, get out of his deep hole there with his $20,000 he got scammed out of. And he's back, and he's talking to Nikki and saying, hey, you got to wait in line with me. I'm trying to go meet the drip broker. I'm trying to go get these new Iron Man 3s. And I'm like, yo, what? Iron Man 3s? That's what's going on here now?
I mean,
y'all just profited off my boy, Tony Stark. I will not stand for it.
Yeah.
Petition!
You got to get that going, bro. That's
fucked
man. Up.
Yeah. But yeah, so he wants to go get the new drip. She's like, you don't need 2 pairs of them, man. You're collecting these things? Whatever. Maybe he can help me get some new swag for my girl over here. That's right. I use the word swag, kids.
Swag.
We used
Bringing
to say
it back.
swag out
here. What is that, back in 08 or something?
Oh, yeah, bro. We going back in time, man. Where we're going, we don't need rose, bro. You know how it is. But yeah, man, they got to go get that drip, though, from the drip broker, man. And that all comes back around later in the episode, yo. And also, Nikki knows a designer guy that can actually make her a brand new suit that she could use in both her She-Hulk and Jennifer form, because obviously when she shrinks back down to being little old Jennifer, it looks like she's wearing her big brother's suit or something. And then when she grows into the She-Hulk form, obviously it fits her a lot more nicely. So it would be more convenient, obviously, for her if she can get something that fits both ways and all that stuff. And from there, they end up going to court to start trying to get into this case with Titania and all of that. And as I mentioned earlier, when she's at the firm, she needed to get representation because obviously she can't represent herself. So they bring in this new character, and I'm gonna have to get that name real quick, man, because I wanted to pull her name, man. What was the new character?
Yeah,
so I actually really enjoyed this character quite
a
bit, actually. Probably one of my favorite newer additions to this thing. I actually enjoyed her more than Titania, funny enough. Renee Elise Goldsberry. And I actually do like the actress who plays Titania, but, just wasn't really necessarily falling in love with this character off the bat or anything. And I haven't seen anything this actress has done before, but she's hella talented, that is for sure. I'm really digging her vibe, her whole bitchy, but actually really on point kind of vibe going on there, you know what I'm saying? And she got the drip for real. She be looking good, bro. And she be doing her thing, and she be talking shit on Jennifer's fits, man. Like, hey, you need to step your game up, girl.
Dude, everybody is. Like, I think even Titania.
Yep.
I think there was, like,
series,
one bit.
Titania and Nikki and freaking this chick, she was fucking making fun of her. Everyone's making fun of the way Jennifer dresses, dog, but I can't blame her, man. She ain't looking great, man. Amelia was right. Amelia was right.
Yeah, I think there was like one part in the episode with like within the court when Titania was referencing Jennifer or She-Hulk as Shrek. The way she said it, I was like, "What
Shrek.
the fuck?"
I was like, "Bro, I literally thought that from the trailer. What's up, Fiona?"
I think that's what everybody thought. They were like,
"This show is so self-aware. I love it." That was one of my favorite moments. Thank you for honestly bringing that up. I almost forgot to write that. I forgot to write that down.
Yeah, dude, that was honestly the first kind of like joke / like little quip towards like Jennifer that I actually did like I was like, oh my god,
that was one of the best zingers in this thing.
I was
man.
like,
that's why I said, like this show hits, man. It hits, bro.
First one, surprisingly. That's why I was like, okay, cool. This is it's getting there.
That was really good. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, dude. Thank you. Oh man, and then later on, Jen's kicking it with Nikki, and she realizes, oh shit, I actually do got an angle on this because I made a dating profile as the She-Hulk. So I can use all of those previous dates as character witnesses in my case, and also is proof that I claimed this name in some official public capacity. And I was like, oh shit, there you go, right there. I didn't even think of that. So that was really good writing right there in the show. And that's one thing I've really enjoyed with this series, whether moments I dig or don't like, whatever, all that stuff aside. I really love the writing for the most part of this series, man. When they're on point, they're so on point with stuff like that. The self-aware humor, the references, and the way that they're bringing back some of these plot points back around really helps break up that, the more episodic, sitcom element of it, and it kind of brings it back to being that more through storyline, which kind of has been like a nice balance so far in certain ways, where I don't think they've necessarily nailed that balance the entire time in every single episode, but they've definitely nailed it in certain instances, and that is one of those moments for sure right there, man. I really, really dug that for sure. And then they bring all of these people in to do the trial later on. But before we, so then all the previous dates are coming in, and they're being the witnesses claiming that she is using the name She-Hulk and was in the form and going out with these dates with these people. And one of the guys is this weirdo that she ran into also at the firm. That was one of the guys she went out with, who's really too much of a fanboy and really is what you would call an incel, I feel.
I think that's kind of like what I would imagine.
That's what you people said the Joker was going to be, okay? You leave Joaquin Phoenix alone, all right? Yeah. This is the real incel right here. This is who you got to really look out for.
Yeah, like he kind of there's like a specific animal that I was thinking of that represents him a lot. Looks like a fucking durable looking thing or whatever, maybe.
Guinea pig man over here.
Guinea pig.
But yeah, dude, like it's just like all these, and then all that stuff, and then you get the one black dude that was yelling at everybody, and we obviously know he's an asshole, and he's all over here trying to act like he didn't even want to go on the date and all this shit. I'm like, this motherfucker was over here fangirling and shit. I'm like, you need to shut your mouth, boy. And then the fucking Mr. Nice Guy comes back and talks even more shit. Like, Jennifer's not right there, bro. She's like, hey, she can hear your ass, you know?
Yeah.
Motherfucker. Like, this guy is such a dick, bro. Like, oh, she's not my type. It's like, yeah, we know. You know
With Jennifer, between Jennifer and She-Hulk, dog. Yeah.
You don't deserve the She-Hulk, okay? If you don't want Jennifer, you don't get She-Hulk, motherfucker.
At that point, it does teach Jennifer that she needs to allow how people accept her, not as She-Hulk. Because obviously, She-Hulk would honestly get, like, in her case, in the dating apps, like, all those likes. And top of that, she's going towards the dating app, so you'll meet a lot of guys kind of in that realm that are like that in that sense. But I think it's kind of good for her character. I think for this episode to really just kind of realize that, have people accept her for her and not just for like her other personality appearance, which is She-Hulk, which is like 7 foot something inches.
Yeah, exactly, man. They're all going off the appearance and not looking at what's within, which is Jennifer, man. And I like the whole that whole element of the plot, man, and of the character itself, man. And I like how they are definitely starting to explore that a little bit more with each and every episode, just a little bit more, and they're sprinkling that in there. So I definitely hope they double down on that in the future. But I'm definitely glad that it is an element of what's going on here, man. And going on from there, man, Jennifer ends up taking out Amelia. I believe it was Amelia. Am I getting that wrong again?
For who? The
yeah, Amelia. Yeah, the lawyer that's representing Jennifer. Yeah, Amelia.
Oh yeah, Amelia.
She takes out Amelia for some drinks and all that, and she ends up being a goofy ass and end up slipping like, "Oh, you're such a great. Now we're best friends and all this shit." And I'm like, "All right, Jennifer, slow your roll.
Calm down. It's like,
calm down, girl."
You just better like a day or 2 at most.
And then she's like, "Oh yeah, don't you have an appointment or something like that?" She's like, "Oh yeah, my clothes."
Oh,
she
yep.
broke the fourth wall and shit. And I was like, "Oh yeah, right. I forgot about that shit."
Yeah.
And then she ends up going to meet up with essentially the MCU's live action version of Edna Mode, except it's a gay black dude. So hey, I'm all for it, man. And he comes up in there and he's making all the dope duds for all the superheroes out there, all the potentially future X-Men out there. You never know, and he's making a potential something special for our boy we're going to get into towards the end of this thing. But Nikki, through her connections with the drip broker when she goes to get those Iron Man 3 hookups with our lawyer guy over there, they end up getting all this Avengers gear. Not Avengers. Hey, trademarks, y'all. That's the whole topic of discussion this episode. Watch that branding. Avengers, they go to the drip broker, and at first he doesn't want to let them in. Then they end up getting all the Avengers merch and whatnot, and the Iron Man 3s and all this shit, and they end up moving on with their day. But they get the connections to this costume dude, and he's going to create something new for Jennifer. And at first, he's a little bit hesitant, doesn't really want to do it, but Nikki convinces him that she will be a part of the Avengers and is not necessarily publicly announced as of yet, and she's going to be huge because, come on, she's She-Hulk. And he's like, all right, I'll take it on and I'll make you something. And I think that's going to turn out being possibly the comic book accurate suit we're going to see.
For that's most likely.
We've seen some scenes with a special somebody.
Yeah,
with a couple D's in his name.
Yeah, just freaking. I think that's what it's gonna lead to her costume, right? I think the elastic fabric is gonna be playing a lot into it.
Who's your best friend? Nikki? Spandex.
Expand.
They told you in episode 1, baby. I love that, man. Everything comes back around in this show. And that's one of the really big positive strong points there, man. It all comes back around. Bruce knew what he's talking about.
Yeah, and I think that's it's gonna be interesting to see, because like all this, like this whole appointment thing, this was happening before like that court scene, right? That was
I think I accidentally flipped him around.
Oh, okay, accident. Yeah, I just wanted to be sure. I
misread my notes here.
No worries,
kept rolling with it, but it's all good. But yeah, so those definitely did happen in sequence in a reverse order. But
okay. Yeah, I remember that now. I just
wanted to make sure I hit all the points there. But yeah, I definitely misread that. Actually, funny. I read it backwards. But
it's all good, bro. No, like it was just something that I think we're able to see a lot of cool different designs within that little glimpse of, like, obviously like the armors and stuff like that they had displayed. And we will most likely see that comic accurate suit coming from that shop, along with that other so-and-so we'll mention in shortly.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get all into it, man. That special guy, man. But yeah, so like you said, it happens in reverse order. Then they go to the court case. They do win the court case after getting all these character witnesses of the weirdo dates and asshole guys. And then once they close this case and she can fully use the name She-Hulk and doesn't have to worry about Titania stealing it, Titania tells her this is not over. Which I believe it is not over. And I believe, she didn't really display any superpowers in this episode, so I don't know if she necessarily has to take something or use some kind of cosmetic thing or something to get her superpowers activated or something like that. And I'm not sure. We will get more into that, I believe, through these next 4 episodes. I'm at least hoping so, but I'm pretty sure we will. But that was one lingering plot thread that I think they're definitely setting up for a future episode here. Probably just not the very next one. this following week. But
No.
but yeah, man. So after that court case, Jen does take out Amelia for dinner, and then she makes everything awkward, and then they go to meet up with the guy, get everything made up and everything like that, and she can try it on after he's finally made her suit and everything like that. And right before we close up shop for the day in the episode, we get Homeboy's assistants actually fucking up because there's no confidentiality being shown here. You got to cover up the suit. You got to cover up all the gear. And that particular helmet is none other than Matt Murdock, a.k.a. Daredevil's new comic book accurate yellow helmet. And I got to say, it's looking quite glorious, my friend. I'm fucking with it.
It looks pretty clean. Can't wait to see it coming. I would have a feeling he should make an appearance within the next episode, which would make sense.
I'm pretty sure that'd be really weird the way they ended the episode cliffhanger-wise, TV show-wise, if they're going to jump to the next episode or 2 episodes or 3 episodes later. That'd be really jarring.
Yeah.
It's possible, but I'm pretty sure next week we should be seeing some Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
I'm 90% sure.
Which it's going to be cool because that color scheme, a lot of people complain about the color scheme, which I get it. He's supposed to be really stealthy. But we don't know exactly what they're going to do with the character itself. We don't know if it's going to be like a hard reboot or they're just going to do a soft reboot, for all we know. But those colors plays a huge role for Matt because that was the colors his father would wear every time he would box. It would be those two color schemes.
The yellow and yellow and red, yeah.
Yeah, the yellow and red, yeah. And then that was his thing. And
I almost said yellow and gold.
yeah. It's technically like a gold looking.
Yeah, gold and red.
Yeah.
Essentially, the costume ends up appearing in the comics, yellow and red. But this might actually have more of a golden look to it. We don't know.
Yeah, and that's what's going to be cool to see this different appearance. I completely thought out of the box of how Daredevil might come over, during a branch off.
Yeah, you did mention that, man. You did mention that.
I thought it was
months ago, sometime last year, I think. Right?
Yeah, I thought it was several months ago, and I think it was even last week. We were talking, I think, or 2 weeks ago with Daredevil making an appearance. I thought it was going to be more of She-Hulk was going to go off to Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, yeah, East Coast,
and it was going to be an East Coast type of scenario. I thought that's where the designer or whoever's going to make the costume is going to be at, or where the travel is going to be at. But it ended up being in a solid West Coast thing. So I was like, okay, so that makes sense for him to finally come over, from the East Coast or West Coast. So it's a cool thing to see him outside of Hell's Kitchen, technically, because
most def.
He was always been New York based, and so we'll see him in the West Coast base and dealing with the new environment. But I wonder if how they're gonna interact. I feel like it's gonna be Matt Murdock gonna interact with She-Hulk or Jennifer Lawrence, or not Jennifer Lawrence, Jennifer.
Oh man, dude, Mystique's back, motherfucker.
Yeah,
She actually cares now. No.
Imagine. That got me completely freaking caught up. But
man, we could have a whole separate discussion because I know you got something to get to later. But that'll be a fun discussion at some point. We should do on camera once they start doing some X-Men announcements. So something or we get something else who will we cast as each character and shit like that. That'd be fun to do.
Yeah.
A fun little discussion. We'll do that on a Phantom Frequency show episode or something. We'll have to do that.
When we have more branch off, when we actually get you, myself, Miguel.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Actually talk shop about all this.
Yeah, that'd be fun, man. We'll do it on one of the long form shows, man. Get into that fan casting because there's so many different ways you can go with it. Cause I have some really cool ideas for Mystique. Going more for that vibe of kind of the original X-Men trilogy. Getting more of that. What would be the word? Almost that kind of spy, kind of espionage, kind of more gritty feel to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of how her character pretty much works too. I mean, that's her power.
Yeah, that's the way she's more always been. She has that softer side to her. She is a mother. She does have that. She's a woman. She always is gonna have that feminine, more loving, caring quality because Mystique at times is even a hero and is on the good side of things and stuff like that. And they were kind of playing with that idea in X-Men 3 Last Stand, but they didn't really necessarily nail that with the whole betrayal of Magneto the way I think they could have in a stronger sense. In a way, and I get what they were doing with Jennifer Lawrence's character, where I think in the first 2 films it was working a lot better for me because I got what they were doing. They were
Right.
showing her before she got to the point where she was at, and the transition of her, the hero living long enough to become the villain aspect, that our boy Harvey Dent was talking about in that other universe. So I
Right.
thought that played well there. But it would be cool to see where all that stuff goes in the future, man. We haven't gotten any mutant teases here in the series yet, but I still have that theory with her healing really fast.
With her blood.
I think that could be something. I think that
Yeah.
could be something. Not necessarily
But
Wolverine related or anything, but
but
I
it's
think
like
that could
a
be the X gene showing itself in another character that just
yeah.
happens to be someone that's of importance here in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
overall in the overall MCU, man. But I
But
believe that's pretty much it for the episode, right? Like we're cut to black, no post credit scene, big
I think that
complaint
was
right there.
I
don't
think that
like
was a big post credit, like with Matt Murdock kind of
essentially,
showing
but
up.
I think they should have
Yeah.
cut that off and made it the post credit, man. I don't like it. Where's the
Yeah.
post credit scene? You know
It's
what?
part of the creative.
I'm not with it. You know what? I need more. I need more.
Oh my gosh! But
Bring
between
it
her
back.
and Wong,
Wongers, man. That should be the
Oh
new
my
Disney Plus
God.
show. Wongers, man. I'm
Yeah.
pitching it right now. I'm calling
It's-
up Kevin Feige, bro. I'm writing
Man,
the script, dog. I'm
yeah,
getting on it
yeah.
right now.
But it's gonna be cool overall. Like I think I'm fine about the post credit because that's
No, I
kind of
know.
huge.
I'm not
but
actually complaining.
but
I'm
like,
just like, "Aw, man."
if anything, like they could have done that. It's like they could have made like a little cutoff, having that portion of Jennifer Walters. I just remember her name, Jennifer Walters, and with the
Not
designer
Jennifer
guy,
Lawrence, people.
not Jennifer
Don't
Lawrence.
get it twisted.
Yeah, and doing that and then revealing the Daredevil helmet along with his suit. That would have been cool as a post-credit thing, but I guess they really want to address
They wanna hold
that
that
he's
up,
gonna
man.
be. Yeah, they want to like be known that he's gonna be showing up pretty soon, which is gonna be interesting how they're gonna interact. I think it's gonna be Matt
sure.
Murdock and Jennifer talking to the bar, and then Daredevil and She-Hulk like interacting within the street level type of
Yeah, because we've seen the whole
scenarios.
thing with him flipping, doing the whole shoulder roll off the car and shit, man. So
Yeah.
we know they're gonna meet in costume and out of costume in some capacity, in some way. He'll know she's She-Hulk. I don't think she's gonna know that's the same dude. At
No,
least I hope that's the dynamic they build up. Because I like Matt Murdock and Spider-Man being more of people they don't know who they are.
yeah,
I don't want everyone in the MCU to necessarily be the way it's been, where everyone knows who they are. I kind
No.
of miss the secret identities for some people. I think
Yeah.
the mutants would be cool to do that with in the future too, where
Yeah.
it makes more sense for them to be that way, where there's more security concern and more concern of your well being and your safety and shit like that, and having to get registered, legal aliens and all these different things, the different parallels between real life and all these things that they could draw from in the X-Men and bringing that in. So I think the secret identities really could play well here with Matt Murdock coming into this thing. So I really hope they do play with that, man. 'Cause
I
think that'd
want
be
to
an
keep
interesting
that.
dynamic with Jen. Like, we got to know who you are. You're out here doing all this shit, and he's like, I ain't telling you shit.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just a lawyer. And then that's what Matt just kind of like, Matt kind of plays that role. People are trying to say like Matt's going to be the mentor. I don't want Matt to be that mentor
Like
for
She-Hulk
anybody.
or-
Yeah, for like
or
She-Hulk.
just in
And I'm
general? Oh.
like,
I
for
hope
She-Hulk
not.
and like
Just
some
let her
other
do her own
characters.
thing. I think
Yeah,
Bruce makes the most sense.
Bruce
If you're
does
gonna
it.
have a character, like he can come in and out, but I like her doing her own thing and living a life, and these people, like, I think he can come in and kind of be that guidance because he's a Hulk. No one's gonna know what a Hulk is except a Hulk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the only time Matt would be that, I guess, that voice, and like, and this like, it'll just be advice, not like something like a mentor type of situation.
Yeah, not like
It'll
a
be
Tony
like,
Stark, Peter.
yeah, it's like more of like he'll give advice saying like, well, that whole dialogue between telling her Jennifer that, well, you're in a unique position. You can have two different roles within society. You can be Jennifer
Yep.
Lawrence for like when society fails them, whatever it may be. And then that's when you play as She-Hulk when the law fails him and stuff like that, and you got to take matters in your
Exactly.
own hands. So kind of like he kind of gives like that advice that like to kind of help her realize what she could do with
Yeah.
her current potential, which
The gift that she's been given with, even though she never asked for it.
yeah, and that's something that I would rather see a lot more. No mentor, but a person who has who's talked as Matt Murdock as kind of advice, and he can kind of do the same thing with Daredevil too. They give out advice as well, but
Yeah.
kind of like keep it like only crossovers when they need to be. No mentor any of this, no mentor any of that. Just be that
Mm-hmm.
person that you'll see in the streets whenever. And in this case, they're not going to really see it too often because he's going to be back on the East Coast and she'll be
Yeah,
there on the West
man.
Coast. It'll be like a brief
New
exchange.
York
and
State
if
of
the-
mind, nah, shit over there.
Yeah. So it's like I would just rather have it that way, and then have their interactions brief as how it's going to be set up with dealing with whatever Jennifer is going to be dealing with in the upcoming episodes, and just leave it like that. And then Matt just does his thing when he goes back to New York, and that's another thing. It's going to be like mainly between him and Spider-Man. That's something I want to see as a huge crossover. Him and Spider-Man is going
Yeah,
to be
man.
a great
I
thing.
think we're definitely gonna see that. I think that definitely Born Again. You know what I mean? I think that's the open opportunity within the next couple years because we don't know the next Spider-Man film yet. You know we're gonna
Mm-mm.
get one, but I think we might not get it till like 2025. You know,
I don't
might
think
be a
so
minute.
either.
It might be late 24. Might be 25 right before we get into the Avengers debacle. You know?
Yeah, I think what they're gonna end up doing with like how I talked to you with off camera about the series is that
Yeah.
they're gonna use like Reborn again to kind of like introduce like a lot of Netflix characters
Yeah.
back to the
Get
into the
Defenders
universe.
stuff getting it going again.
Yeah, kind of have like bringing them into it, like him looking for Jessica Jones, him with Wilson Fisk, him with maybe Luke Cage, him with. I'm hoping to recast with Iron Fist a little bit. Maybe bring him up there.
Yes.
Bring
We have
Punisher
discussed
in
that
there.
several different times on camera,
Yeah.
off camera. Please, I beg of you, MCU, do the right thing. Recast Iron Fist because he should be a part of this thing. Get him in Shang-Chi too. Get him in that spin-off series. Get him in something. I
Yeah.
really think him and Shang-Chi, that could be some really cool shit right there. With
Yeah,
the
oh,
Defenders.
yeah.
Like Shang-Chi's with the Avengers, that's your Defender, and those are your masters of Kung Fu. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then those two, like especially with Iron Fist, he kind of like he does like play a good part with like even the street level, like him and Luke
Yeah.
Cage.
No,
even
for
to
sure.
have their
Heroes
own
for
thing
hire. Let's
going.
get it going. Get
Yeah.
somebody really dope for Mike Coulter to team up with. I want that series. Like I don't
Yeah.
need a Luke Cage series again. I liked what that for what it was. Let's do Heroes for Hire.
Yeah,
It's their
and-
show. They can co-lead it, and then you can get him into these big adventures with Shang-Chi and Shang-Chi 2. You could throw,
Yeah.
and then you could throw all these guys in Secret Wars later on. But I think that'd be really dope to get them all in Born Again, do a
Mm-hmm.
Heroes for Hire. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what they do, and then the Defenders is their team up, like we did last time, but just do it a little stronger and a better villain. I thought that they all
Yeah,
worked
no,
well
I
together.
agree.
But I just a better villain. No offense to Sigourney Weaver, because that woman is a freaking treasure. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
just wasn't loving the writing of the villain, not her.
that's something I would agree with you 100%. Like the
Yeah.
writing wasn't just, it was just everywhere. I like the villain wasn't
Madame
that
Gao could have
great.
been the villain, and I'd have been satisfied because she was killing it.
Yeah,
liked
Madam.
her.
I thought it was
You
gonna
know
be
what I
great
mean?
with Madam Gao being there as
Yeah.
like the main protagonist and
Her or
stuff.
Fisk, like lean into what's working. You know, what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I
those could be
think-
your big bads right there.
I think Fisk at that time they couldn't use him because in season 2
D'Onofrio, or yeah, he was locked up, right?
he was locked up after
He hadn't
season
broke
2, I
out yet,
believe.
right.
Yeah, season 3 was when he officially got released and he did his whole scheme. That's what I really want from
I forgot, yeah,
from
you're
Fisk,
right.
but I don't know what they're gonna do with Wilson Fisk. But from what we've seen so far, I'm not too enthusiastic about him. But
Yeah,
I kind of want him to be
the
that.
opening scenes go back to that, like where you left him off at. You know,
Yeah.
he was gonna have the eye patch and shit. I'm like, okay, go with how he's scaring the shit out of Vera Farmiga. Go with that.
Yeah,
Go
and then
with the toy store scene. Let's not do
with
again.
that bullshit, and then like people
Yeah.
made memes about that with Wilson Fisk. He's like, if we're on Netflix with what's her face, with the mother, he's like, your head would have been like decapitated,
Vera
which it would have been
Farmiga?
true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the table, like, don't cross me again.
yeah, and then that's why I was like, okay, well, that's like a Disney influence right there. I'm like, that's something that
Yes,
you're gonna have to.
that's undeniable. That is for sure. That is the upper heads getting in Marvel's head. Like, hey, you better make sure you tone that shit down.
Yeah, so like that's why I was like, okay, if they're gonna do that, just make him more of the approach of how he was in season 3 or throughout like all
Yeah,
the
just
seasons.
don't put the
prior
gore
to-
in if you don't want to, and then just let him be the same way. Just let him act the same way. Just don't put the gore in there.
Yeah,
That's all you
just-
have to do. Just pull the gore out and keep the same.
Yeah, and that's
It ain't
what
broke.
the-
Don't fix it.
Yeah, because he does great. Like the chemistry between Vincent and Charlie is already
Off the
great.
charts.
It's like their whole dialogue. You kind of like you appreciate.
Yeah,
like
that's
both
gonna
sides.
work. I don't really think the writing's gonna get in the way of that. It's
Uh-huh.
just more what are they doing separately. I think them together is just gonna work on screen.
Oh,
I don't,
they're gonna be.
I don't know how you could fuck that up. To be honest with you.
There'll be like no way. I think that's when we won't see a lot more until I think a glimpse of it will be in Echo. Echo is gonna be.
Yes.
what-
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, that is gonna be the first time.
Yeah, and then that's gonna for me. I would judge a lot off of that because
Yeah.
for that's essentially going off of between Echo and then Wilson Fisk. And Wilson Fisk being alive, it's gonna tell like the audience like how he's gonna be playing out throughout the majority of the time. Is he gonna be that goofiness that we seen earlier, or he's gonna be brought back into that character that we fell in love with back in the Daredevil series that everyone praised about with his betrayal of the Kingpin. I mean, shoot, he is supposed to be like that menacing kind of like person that's supposed to be thinking further ahead compared to all the superheroes or the ground superheroes, then kind of playing that political game a little bit more.
Yeah, man,
So,
making a Cobra Kai reference. He's that Terry Silver. He's always 3 steps ahead, man. He's got
yeah,
your Queen's Gambit already scouted, bro. Like, you can't even get past this guy unless
yeah,
you really, really get in his head and get somebody that's on the inside, man. Like, that's the only way you're going to do it. But I think MCU usually likes to listen to the critics, and I think almost unanimously, people have been complaining about that Kingpin portrayal just in and of itself. And I think they're definitely going to right those wrongs, and I think they're going to definitely tone it or pull it back in a different direction to get it closer to what we know, man. Get it to that darker Kingpin. Let's not go to that Daredevil Kingpin. Let's get back to, and I'm talking about I'm talking about my boy Ben Affleck. I'm not talking about my boy Charlie Cox, okay?
yeah. Oh my
I don't
God.
want Colin Farrell Bullseye. I want the one guy from season 3, okay? Let's go back. Let's go back to that vibe. Let's go back to that direction.
As Bullseye as Dex, I liked him as Dex. I forgot.
I know. I don't think we're gonna get it though. It's possible, but I don't know. But I do hope we get Bullseye in a costume of some sort someday.
Of comic accurate.
Throw in some shit. Just
or
a black
some
costume
form
of some sort with the Bullseye on it. I just
maybe
like to see
build off of it a little bit more. Like I guess probably as like the series go.
Down. Just like put like a freaking like like a Bullseye.
A Bullseye right here,
or like you don't even have to really make it look super duper accurate with the spandex and stuff like that. You can go like the Daredevil and just have a helmet, and then he's got the Bullseye on there. You know what I mean? So I think that'd be cool. Just something more comic book accurate. I think would be awesome because the MCU's always been great at balancing that. I don't really think they've had. The only lame looking costume, in my personal opinion, was maybe the Phase 1 Cap costume.
Oh God, yeah.
It wasn't
Cap
like
was my favorite.
Best. That was probably the only real element of that movie. I was like, damn, y'all kind of did my boy a little dirty. If Chris Evans wasn't as great of an actor, this really wouldn't be working.
Yeah, because it did look pretty goofy.
The script was good and he was good. So I was like, if y'all didn't write a good movie and have a good actor, you would have really fucked that up.
He would have.
So
yeah,
thank God and hallelujah. But just yeah, man. But just overall thoughts of this thing, man. I guess I'll kick that off, man. Just giving our overall thoughts of the episode without, I'm not gonna get into every single plot point all over again or anything like that. But but I will say that overall, this wasn't necessarily my favorite episode. I would say this was my least favorite of the series so far. If I'm being honest with y'all out there, man, and being honest with you, man. Just as we were kind of talking off camera a little bit. Give it a little tease for our thoughts here. But yeah, man, I got to be honest with y'all out there, man, out there in the world, man. Wasn't really feeling this episode as much as I have the previous 4, because for the most part, I feel like the other episodes was kind of really balancing the really witty writing, the comedy, and the storytelling of what was going on with Jennifer, the overall transition of her becoming She-Hulk, and the overall reaction to her being the She-Hulk and everything. I thought was playing really well in the first 4 episodes, and I thought they were really doing great with that TV format, the thing of the week, and everything was really like fun, or at least very entertaining, or at least made sense. The Megan Thee Stallion thing, I know some people had complaints with that. I thought that was very funny. The whole ego of that dude. I honestly do think that I've met people like that. I've seen people like that. I thought that whole fragile ego thing was very funny to make fun of that toxic masculinity shit. And I think that's just a really fun thing. Even as a guy, I can have fun with that and all those different things in the different episodes. In the previous episode, I really enjoyed almost the most out of the entire thing. I think the first episode's still my favorite. But yeah, man, I thought this one just got a little too goofy at times, and it didn't really focus on really building up the characters as much. Like, we kind of dipped into the whole thing with Jennifer not really being comfortable in her own skin, and the way people judge her as opposed to the She-Hulk form that she now has, and the way that she projects more of a confidence into that kind of persona that she's building for herself, as opposed to who she is as just plain old Jennifer and everything like that. Her brother comes in for a quick second to try to make some money off of her signature. There could have been a really good conversation there, but all it is just a joke, And with the dad and everything, all it is just a joke. Where when they first introduced the character, they had some funny bits at the table, but then they went back in his shed, and they were actually having a real discussion and a real conversation about her being the She-Hulk and her having a thing going on. and when the dad was concerned about those dudes mugging her and things like that. That's more what I want to see when you're talking about that kind of stuff. But when you just have like the characters that are supposed to really be building up your character and really fleshing her out and making her relatable for the audience and really like connecting to us with her as a new hero in the Marvel universe, like all the other characters, and they've done so well. Even in Phase 4, I know has more complaints and more of a mixed reaction these days, but I still think they've done a really great job at introducing almost every single character in Phase 4. I really do think almost every character has really had a great introduction and really been fleshed out well, especially when you're talking about our main heroes, Kate Bishop, Yelena Belova, Zhang Li, and I mean, so many great characters, dude. The reintroduction of Jane Foster was awesome. You know what I'm saying? They've done such a great job with all these characters. Sylvie, Mobius, the list goes on and on, man. So I just think they really dropped the ball on that regard with this, man, and really aren't delivering on that, man. And they're not getting in any of that character development with Jennifer and her building relationships with Nikki or her making a new friendship with Amelia. They don't go into any of that. They're always just jumping to tell the next joke, in this particular episode. And the overall plot of this one with Titania suing her, I don't think is really necessarily as funny as the other stuff going on in the other episodes, where I was just kind of laughing at the overall situation that's going on as a situational comedy, but it just wasn't really playing for me in this one, man. Like, I don't know if it's just me, like the Drip Broker sequence wasn't really as funny to me either, and everything like that. Like, I like the Edna Mode guy. I thought he was cool. And I don't have a problem with him being the guy that created Daredevil's suit, because I know that's a little bit of a controversy, as there's always a controversy every week and every day about something in the world of fandom these days. It seems like with a certain vocal minority out there, they're complaining that that's the person that created the Daredevil, the classic Daredevil suit that we all know and stuff, where I don't think anyone that acts the way they act has anything to reflect on Daredevil or anything, and vice versa. It ain't the dude that Melvin that made his suits before was necessarily a badass, cool character. You know what I mean?
The guy, I mean, if they're complaining about that, that's just, they're looking for any nitpicks. Because if they're trying to follow like the Daredevil series, Melvin's in fucking jail, dude. Like, there's no way that he's gonna be able to come out and make this suit. So they gotta have somebody else to make the suits as well.
And an Edna Mode character makes sense, especially in this series. Like, and I hate to keep using that comparison, but it's just what it reminded me of. But having a character with that tone fits for this series, and having a character like that fits for this universe. And I don't think that's necessarily, like, weird. As long as you're not getting into, like, freaking the Punisher, and he's the one creating stuff for the Punisher. Yeah, that might be a little jarring. But otherwise, I think he pretty much fits with all the other characters and fits that vibe with creating the suits. And he's only going to pop in and out real quick, only with these street-level characters, because he's not going to be making things for the Avengers in the future. They're probably going to have someone on a much higher level of, someone from Wakanda or somebody doing something for him. They're not going to be going to him necessarily. So I just think that, like, people are definitely nitpicking him in that regard, and that is not my complaint with this episode whatsoever. I just think they get a little too goofy and unfocused in this episode, and they don't really deliver on Titania being a part of this episode. She's in really like 2-3 quick appearances of the episode. Doesn't really add much to like the overall plot and things going on, and she just has this really like shallow grudge against Jen, which doesn't really make her an interesting villain or a person for her to go up against as like an antagonist, I guess you could say. So overall, I'm just a little bit underwhelmed with this episode, man. Like,
which is
like it's kind of a bummer. Like, honestly, I was really enjoying every other episode, bro. Like, I'm really like, man, like I hope this isn't really the trend that goes on for the rest, but Daredevil definitely has me excited, and the potential of seeing, where the Titania storyline could go with her fighting her and busting through the wall. There could be a really cool fight to be had there. And I just hope they just get into a little bit more of Jen as a person and get more into and just kind of balance out that overall tone, man, and just continue to tell the story of Jennifer while having their different episodic stories for the episodes, But overall, man, just wasn't really feeling it. But I'll let you go ahead and get to your overall thoughts.
No, like a lot of your points is like how I felt, like what you've been saying as your negative points. I kind of did feel like that a lot throughout the past couple of episodes. Like for how
I'm like kind of on your wavelength with this one now. Huh?
That's how I felt, because like that's something that we even talked about, like beginning of Phase 4. Like we mentioned like the joke for joke. I talked to you about like how they kind of need to pull back on it and kind of like really have a heart warming kind of story tell for each character, and kind of flesh them out a little bit, because this now you're what the MCU is dealing with is they're trying to introduce new heroes, new characters that they got people got to grow and love. And with them to constantly throw out joke after joke, it kind of gets stale. It kind of gets repetitive, boring, and it doesn't really make it as enjoyable, like at all. We've seen that already with Thor, with Love and Thunder. We've seen that a lot with that.
Yeah, man,
throughout
that's
that
really
timeframe.
rubbing people the wrong way. Me, only in very few select moments. I guess I'm more into the wavelength of that particular movie. But yeah, that really wasn't sitting with people necessarily in the comedy. It was definitely overbearing quite a bit for some people, and really, some people really don't even like the movie because they feel like the comedy just really ruined it for them. So I'm not on that same boat, but it is a legitimate concern that that you got to definitely look at that's going on.
To address, right? So that's why it's comedy could be there. Like this show, there has
Yeah.
been comedic shows
Yeah, for
that can be
sure.
put in a serious tone with
Like
serious
Loki's
topics.
very, very comedic and very serious and dramatic and everything like that. And I thought that was a very, very well balanced. It's not necessarily the same type of humor, but you know what I'm saying. It was
Yeah.
pretty absurdist at times.
Yeah, and like what comes to me is like you can have the goofiness and the serious talks. There's a show like this outside MCU. I think can kind of fit into the what they're kind of go with is Scrubs. Scrubs is kind of plays
That's a
both
great
in
example. I
both
like that show.
that comedic and serious talks
Yeah.
throughout JD's journey, and even not even JD, all majority of other characters
Yeah,
as well.
everyone gets development throughout that series. That is actually very true.
And that's something that She-Hulk, I can try to see them trying to aim for, but they are failing at that point because it's just when it gets to that, how you mentioned that serious talks that could be had, it just doesn't get there. It just like they throw in a joke, they throw in a joke, they throw in a joke, and it just kind of it waterboards you, and you're just like, this. It's kind of hard for me to like not like really appreciate the show too much as what people are praising it for because I know some people really do enjoy the show and that's some people's cup of tea, but for like I feel like for when it get, if you keep on doing it, like people who are looking towards like that comedic reference and also that serious tone, what people are looking for is a serious tone. It's you kind of wash away those viewers a lot, and that's what I think a lot of people are looking for as a mass. They're looking for that serious character development, because we talk about how the glimpses are that Jennifer is needing to have that confliction of having people accept her as Jennifer, not She-Hulk.
Yeah,
and they
for
can get
sure.
more off of that, have more talks with her dad, more talks with
Yes,
her
man.
cousin. How you mentioned, they can delve into that and then have the comedic acts throughout, like scattered throughout the episode. And Scrubs does that perfectly, and I think that's what She-Hulk
Yes,
is
dude.
now is failing pretty miserably.
Like when
I would say.
JD's friend and girl gets pregnant and stuff, and he's dealing with becoming a father and all that stuff. I remember watching a lot of those episodes too, man. And it was a lot of serious stuff going on when he actually became a father. His character actually transitioned a lot, and he wasn't really like, he was still funny, but he wasn't goofing around with JD and stuff in the same exact way. And
Yeah.
JD, I remember he was like, "Damn, like I actually can't hang out with him as much. I got to kind of find my own thing and kind of find something to do." Because
Yeah.
they were living together too, and it was like, damn, it was like a hella awkward situational comedy. But yeah, that's the element. I'm with you, dude. Like they're missing on this series more kind of with the last episode or maybe this one. Even though I enjoyed the hell out of last episode, I think a lot of these complaints can be applied to it. I think just what the bit was fun for me. So I guess I just was along for the ride more so than anything.
Oh, I see.
In that
Yeah.
particular one. That's why, because I think a lot of those complaints, I'm like, I see what you're saying, but it's just not bothering me the same way. But I
Right.
think episodes 1, it had that perfect balance of him and her cracking jokes, him and her busting each other's balls. But they were really getting in each other's face and really having a real life argument. And the shit that she said was actually very hurtful, bro, when you think about what they were discussing. And it was actually a very raw, real moment. And their apology and the way they actually played that out was how families interact, dude. Like, that was what I was talking about. In
Yeah.
the kitchen scene and leading into the other scene I was talking about. That's the stuff that was so great with the first 2, even 3 episodes, and all the stuff with Emil Blonsky and her seeing him. Oh man, he actually isn't such a shithead as I thought.
Yeah.
Oh damn, I
right?
actually don't mind representing him. I am gonna help him get on parole, and he's kind of a weird, but hey, fuck it, I'm gonna actually help him out. And she got something successful in her case and was successful doing what she loves doing. And that ties into what the arc was in those first 2 episodes. I don't want to be a superhero. I want to go back to being Jen and doing these cases and working for this law firm and doing what I love doing. And that was the whole part, I think, in the first 3 episodes that really played strong. In episode 4, the dating element to me felt very real and very funny. that to me, I'm like, I'm going through that. Anyone that's fucking single right now in their late teens to like late 30s is totally feeling what Jen's going through, having to do the swiping game and getting and all this stuff and going on weird dates with people, and then you got to like kind of go through all these dates to kind of find the right person when you're kind of going through that whole internet dating stuff, you know what I mean, and how awkward it can be, and how you got to kind of think about how you're even portraying yourself to people to make yourself desirable or any of that kind of shit. I think it's like that played really well in episode 4. I thought everything else around it's very silly, obviously, but that to me was the kind of the saving grace of last episode, where they didn't have that here. They barely like touched it for a quick second and then just went away. They just completely gave you. They gave me like dramatic blue balls. Essentially, it was like, oh come on, dude! Like I can't just have complete comedy, with none of that there. When this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where that's not what this is. It's not just a world of sitcom. It's not, and that's the thing with like Modern Family, why I never liked that one as much. Where obviously there's some heartfelt moments in the show, I'm sure, but that one to me didn't have that balance all the time. It was like more too goofy and too silly and stuff like that, and going for the joke and going for the bit, as opposed to telling a story with your characters while having humorous situations and humorous dialogue along the way.
Well,
and like you said, it's that balance of keeping story first, humor as it's a spice.
It's a spice. It's that little spice sprinkled along throughout each episode, which is very true. I would say that. I think, as mentioned before, I think back in episode 1 and 2, I think a lot of issues, because there has been like discussions post before like She-Hulk was released, that there was a lot of creative troubles within the writing room.
Mentioning this last week, either on or off camera, I can't remember, but I remember you mentioning that. Yeah,
and we are kind of seeing that in that sense, because it seems like there's two different ideas brewing in within the show that isn't fully developing as time goes on, and I'm sensing that a lot. I'm trying to really keep myself open-minded and try to wait until the finished product. That's why like at the end of it, there is like a topic that I want to talk about evolving with Charlie Cox and stuff, moving
once we see all these things go down.
Yeah, because like that's something that I feel like I don't want to get into it till like that until we actually get to the end of it. Yeah,
for sure, man. Yeah, definitely keep a tab on that, man, and make sure you mention that, because I would love to get into a big discussion with that. But yeah, man, like we said, dude, like I know you've definitely been a lot more lukewarm on this series for sure. I've been a lot more on the moderately positive side. I guess you could, if you want to make it fancy, I guess. But I'm on the more like mixed to positive, and you're definitely more on just kind of just mixed, I guess. Yeah. I don't know if you would say negative. I don't know.
It's like very like
you would say,
because like right now
on disliking, I guess you could say, or it's teetering on bad for you.
I think for me with this show, I'm like neutral, going towards like the negative, like like heading towards then.
Yeah, like that heavy neutral, like I can take it or leave it.
Yeah, like I can take it or leave it. Like honestly, the one thing that is keeping me brought back is Daredevil.
I know, I already know, dude. I know that's your lifeline.
I'm like, where the fuck is where is Matty Boy, dude? Yeah, I'm like, where is I'm in the storm. I'm like off the fucking boat, drowning in water, hoping to God that Matt comes in there with the fucking life preserver to get me out of there.
Instead of Wilson. Murdoch!
Yeah.
Murdoch! You got your fucking soccer ball. Murdoch!
Yeah. That's it. That's my saving grace. And then like I'm trying to like find like there is like some like there is a negatives for me for the show. That's why for me like this show is like on that 5 spectrum, like the low 5 spectrum. For me, it brought back like this episode brought it up to like 5.12. Like the main reason why is like obviously with the reveal towards the end, and then the little She-Hulk, the Hulk, the Shrek reference with what's her face. I honestly grabbed that
gold.
That's why I was like, all right, you got me on that one.
Jamil.
Yeah.
I don't care what else you do in this series. That was fantastic.
I was like, okay, I'm like, you got me on that one. The past, like, I was
fucking place in the MCU. You can come back anytime just for that.
Yeah, like, it makes me like, I want to like see a little bit more of her character, but with everything overall with this show, it's just they are really lacking like the character development. I don't mind comedic, but character development is a huge is a missing. It's just missing overall. And I feel like they could have easily make a show like that. We've had previous shows beforehand.
Yeah,
besides
Miss Marvel,
Scrubs.
dude.
Miss Marvel can have it.
They did it the whole time, bro. The fucking family shit was better than the superhero stuff. And the superhero stuff was actually informed by it, like you're supposed to do, bro. And even though the villains, I thought, kind of fizzled out in just the last 2 episodes,
That was like the main issue
about it worked. Her origin story, how she used her powers, how she discovered them, her wanting to be a hero, it all played well. And all built on character and all that good jazz. Moon Knight was very informed by character. Even when they had certain creative decisions, like we discussed off camera, that we didn't necessarily love in that series.
Oh,
that episode
scenes,
5 is like, come on, bro. You can't tell me that is not beautiful storytelling and character development. In episode 5 alone, that's more than this entire series has had in all 5 episodes. Just in that one episode.
Yeah, and I think that's when I'm hoping, and I'm really hoping that it does pick up a little bit, maybe with the shit with her running into Matt Murdock, or her finally dealing with an antagonist of some sort that really keeps her like pretty much getting her pinned against the wall as She-Hulk, or even as Jennifer, just really trying to like bring out the advice that's been given to her by Bruce, by Matt, at least really kind of like shift the tone a little bit more within the writing sense. Because right now it's for me, I think as right now the show is at best a 5.5 out of like I think that's like the highest it would ever go for me, unless they make that swap. But I feel like they aren't going to do that. Like they might get do that a little bit with Matt's character, but I think that's when they'll probably go get himself back up to 5.5, and for them to really push that boundary to break out of it, for me, is to really delve into the character development and kind of have that blend of a sense with comedic and character development.
I'm with you, man. Yeah, this one definitely drops the overall. Yeah, these last couple episodes have definitely dropped a little bit of the overall quality of this run so far. I definitely think it's dropped it to like probably around a 6 for me, man. And it definitely, like, I'm definitely like, okay, guys, like, let's not. I hope you don't decline anymore. Like, let's hope like you either just stay the same or let's improve. I hope it definitely doesn't decline, anything like that. At least for my own personal experience and enjoyment of the series. But yeah, man, like I said, keep it fun, but we got to get a little more character development and a little more just keep the storytelling focus that you had in those first 2, especially 3 episodes. It was a really strong storytelling and setup for what Jennifer Walters could be evolving with an overall arc for her character. So I'm hoping they can kind of bring that home in these last few episodes. But yeah, overall, man, this episode for me is probably like, if I had to rate, the episode, I'd probably put this one like at a 5 out of 10, man. This was definitely not a good. This is definitely like a little bit of a poor episode. Just an episode of itself, I would say. Just for me, man. Like, I gotta say, like, I kind of slightly disliked it, man. Like, if I'm being honest, like, I didn't hate it or anything like that. But yeah, like, I didn't like this episode, man. Like, I really didn't like it. I only liked a couple jokes and a couple moments and things they brought up in the episode. And where, like I said, the Edna Mode type character, I like the setup with him. I like where they're going with the Daredevil stuff. And her getting her her getting her legit superhero comic book accurate costume is going to be really great to see her in action doing some stuff. But yeah, you got to bring that character development home. But I'm rooting for him, and I'm overall still like this series. Just was not loving this episode, man. It was definitely a little bit of a rougher one for me. Wasn't bored, wasn't mad or upset or anything, but it definitely was not as fun, nearly as fun to watch or as engaging as the first 4 for me personally. And I would probably say, I guess you're around the same. But yeah, man. But yeah, like we said, guys, we want to hear from y'all in the comments below. And once again, we got to keep it real, man. We got to express how we feel about different things that we watch or listen to or read, things that we cover here on the channel. But it's always with love, man, and we're always rooting for things to improve or be better or whatever. But we always got to keep it real, man. And I'm rooting for She-Hulk to improve and be even better than it has been up until this point. And like we said, man, and even if it's not, dude, there's so much stuff coming down the pipeline in MCU and overall in the world of pop culture. I'm not tripping. We got so much stuff to get into. Andor's right around the corner, man. House of the Dragon has been running strong right now. Cobra Kai just came through, and that just kicked a lot of ass, pun in fucking tended.
Great show. Oh my
MVP,
god.
all I gotta say is chosen. Thank God for that. And
Yo.
yeah, so there's so much great stuff going on right now, and in the MCU alone, we got so many great things coming in the future. I'm still excited to see where this show goes, and I'm so excited for Jennifer Walters as a character overall. In her long term in the MCU, I'm sure is going to improve, and hopefully it's going to get better and better as time goes along. But we want to hear from y'all, man. Let us know what you thought about it. And thank you for checking out these weekly recaps if you have up until this point. And if you're joining us for the first time, thank you very much for making us your official after show of She-Hulk, man. And make sure you do that for all the big TV series going on right now. We got that big 3-episode drop of Andor next week. We're going to be covering that.
Yeah.
More She-Hulk. More House of the Dragon. We're going to be covering Rings of Power, the entire first season, later on down the line. And we got a whole bunch of spooky, creepy stuff planned for the month of October. So we ain't slowing down at all, guys. So click that subscribe button. And if you're listening on the podcast feed, thank you very much. Make sure you click the download on this episode before you leave. It really helps the show out immensely. And we can't say enough how much we appreciate y'all. We're right around the corner from 60. Let's hit that 100 subscribers by the end of the year. And let's freaking keep this train rolling. But do you have any parting words, my friend, before we sign off for the day? And, yeah.
No, as always, just be physically, mentally strong. Have a great weekend coming up, because this is Friday, and just have a good days coming to you, man. That's all.
It's Friday.
Yeah, dude.
You ain't got no job. You got shit to do. So listen to Phantom Frequency, man.
Dude, that's great.
Frequency, man. We
Hell
gotta make
yeah.
a whole fucking thing out of that. But yeah, man. So yeah, much love to each and every one of you, and we're gonna see you again, episode 6, man. Fingers crossed the Daredevil comes up in this thing and injects it with a freaking shot of adrenaline, like freaking Crank with Jason Statham, man, and run up a building or something. So we're gonna see you guys again real soon, and the View Askew review series is going really heavy and strong and ending out strong this weekend, guys. So make sure you tune in for all that, and until next time, stay tuned, don't sleep, much love, peace out, y'all.
Peace out.